Okay, tubers, two bets, and of course, crazy people. In just a few seconds, that chair is going to be filled with someone you're going to easily recognize in a new whiz-bang sound studio. All right, so if you're curious as to who it is and what we're going to talk about and where we're at, hang in there. The video's coming right up. All right, well, like I mentioned in the introduction, I am here at NASA, where Goldfinger has created an entire sound studio. Snoop Dogg's coming by later to do
Hello,
some
everybody.
recording.
Yeah,
And
Snoop
why
Dogg.
don't you talk a little bit about the journey of what you've got? Because another time I will do an actual video of this whole thing once he's got it fully organized.
We're getting there. We're almost done.
You're like 90% there, 95.
We're almost there. Yeah.
And
Well,
people have encouraged you to do YouTube, to do some sort of social media
right.
on your own. You're just a popular guy. And I know that you have your own business.
Yes.
Or Carolyn
runs
has the business.
Carolyn, yeah.
You've taken on a 15-year lease on your house.
Right. I rented a house. I moved out of the apartment.
That runs a little contrary to what everybody talks about.
Yeah.
You've invested a bunch of money into the house.
Yeah.
Runs contrary to what we normally talk about.
Because I don't own it. I just put a lot of money into it.
It's just somebody else's house. And so, and you got bit by a dog.
And hit by a car.
And hit by a car.
While on my bike.
So which one do you want to embellish on?
Well,
it's totally up to you.
On my videos, I covered a lot of that. So let's cover, why I created the studio, okay, more or less. Because I know you had been talking about it, and you had asked me would I want to be on the studio, and you were building the house, and you ran into some problems with that, and I know. And then you rented an apartment to do a studio with a friend, and that didn't work out.
No,
because he moved in TVs and couches and had little kids there, and it's like okay, it's not a studio anymore; it's a house, it's an apartment.
So that was an experiment.
So
it's just one of those things.
I said okay, and you were perturbed about that. You were a little upset about that, and then and I said, well, I kind of like the idea of a studio. Now, when I rented the house, luckily this place is 4 bedrooms, and it did have air conditioning in all but 1 bedroom. So I have to have air conditioning. It's too warm here for me to have air. So I added air conditioners in the main part of the house, and the 2 air conditioners, and they worked out so good. And then this room that we're in right now is a smaller of the 3 bedrooms, of the other 3 bedrooms, smaller of the all 4 bedrooms. And then I said, well, I don't have children. Carolyn's children doesn't live with us. She has a child, but they don't live with her. She lives with the mother. And I says, well, this probably works as a studio. I'll just take out the closet, And then I said, well, what do you think, Paul? And he said, well, I guess so. I said, would you come on and do a podcast? And he goes, yeah, that was really all I wanted to do was live podcasts in the beginning, just do it. And so we pulled out the closet. I started looking into what does it take to soundproof. I thought I made a room that was completely soundproof. It wasn't. No. It's better. It's good.
It's real good.
Yeah, it's real good. It has egg crate foam floor and ceilings, all over. I carpeted the floor, which you typically don't have carpet in the Philippines, to absorb any reflective sound. And I covered 1 window up with black drapes. The other one, I let the light shine in.
And he's got lights up here.
I had to learn about lighting.
But a real curve, hasn't it?
Oh, my God. I had to learn about everything, because I've never done sound. And doing more than 1 camera or more than 1 cell phone, because my idea was not to have both of us on the same side. I wanted to do a split screen. So in my videos, when you see Paul, you'll see him, or when I do videos, you'll see my guest on the other side of the table. I was trying to do a Joe Rogan thing. And so I studied what Joe Rogan is and Rogan does. I don't watch him, but I studied all of his equipment and pulled it up on YouTube.
Okay.
So I ordered the same equipment.
Okay.
Okay. It was horribly expensive.
Right.
And horribly complicated.
Right.
And I created a monster.
Yes, you did.
The total monster. Couldn't figure it out. There was too many wires. I had spaghetti all over my desk with wires. We had to keep buying stuff on top of stuff. And we went through multiple cameras, multiple microphones, and multiple lighting devices. And I had a friend helping me, and he goes, you really complicated this. And I looked back and I go, yeah, like everything else I do in life.
When you were telling me about all this, it was everything I could do just to bite my lip because I know better. I
Yeah.
know you so well. I've known you since Thailand.
Yeah,
in
right,
person.
right. Well, yeah.
It's the years that we and you and me have been hanging out. And I said, there's no telling Goldfinger what to do. Goldfinger's going to do what Goldfinger's going to do. So I'll just sit back and watch. And I had a feeling, I don't want to say I told you so, because I never said anything.
Oh, yeah, I had a couple people tell me you're making this too complicated.
But I thought, man, you can make this so simple.
Okay.
Especially when you start. But you are just that personality.
Yeah.
You just have to go over the top.
So,
and I think that's one of the endearing things about you, is that when you're in, man, you are all in.
I'm all in. I want to do it right.
Yeah,
There's only
I get
one
it.
way, and I always think it's the best way.
I think that's
but
what
not
makes you you.
the most complicated way or the best way isn't always actually the best way. The
No.
best way is the simple way. Okay.
Course of least resistance, right?
Yes. Okay. And I made it. I had mixers, sound mixers, video mixers. I had all kinds of things. Okay. Way too complicated. I'm trying to learn all this stuff. It ain't happening. Send it all back to Amazon. Send it all back. Okay. Let's start over. So we took each we separated the lighting from the video from the sound. And each one I had to look at what's going to be easy and simple. Okay, what will work? And even then, I had to try different microphones. We had problems with microphones. There were, with having two microphones, like in this case, you have two microphones.
Mm-hmm.
And this was, what's the name of the company that builds this again?
DJI.
DJI is good equipment, really good equipment.
Yeah.
But this was a $400 setup.
$350 for my mics.
Just for the mics.
Yeah.
Okay. And I needed two. And they sell Shure microphones, and they're $350 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I wanted to set up for 4 people. And originally I did. And I had quite a bit of money into 4 microphones, 4 booms, a mixer that I handled 4 channels. Okay. And all that. Way too complicated. So send it all back. Keep it simple. We went back to 2 microphones. I went back, found the cheapest microphones, believe me, work better than the more expensive. I went into 4 sets of microphones. I went down to 100, and I found that the $25 microphones work better because they don't have as many knobs and adjustments.
Right.
And they didn't echo. They didn't do any of the problems the other ones did.
The best microphones that I ever found, other than these, because these I'm really happy with. The other ones were getting squirrely. But I literally bought from China. It doesn't even have a name on it. It's all Chinese writing.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I bought for $10 a set of microphones, and I was able to button those on. They had a sound deadener attached to it, and I would drive through the city with May on the back holding the camera.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I would talk.
I remember those.
And you didn't hear any wind.
No.
And it was $10.
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
And that's what the problem was. They lasted about 90 days.
That's the other problem.
Then in the trash can. And so I started ordering them in bulk. I started ordering 3 and 4 at a time. And then
when they go, you just
chuck them. And then they changed the dynamics of them. They weren't the quality when I first got them. And so forever and a day, I finally found these microphones. I knew what I was doing this time. I knew what I wanted it to do. And that just, I think it's cleared up the audio problem.
Yeah.
But that's not really the gist of this. I want to know what's going on with you.
So
you started a studio.
I started a studio because I wanted to do live pods. Now, I haven't got there yet because I still don't know how to do live on YouTube. And it's complicated because you have to learn YouTube too. YouTube is a very complicated, when you start getting into uploading, there's a lot to learn.
So what I want to switch topics. So I want to go with your 15-year lease on a house.
Oh.
Okay, so there's something that we always tell people, and I abide by, is never sign a long-term lease because you don't know you may hate it after 3 months.
It's true.
And, so you sign up for maybe 6 months, a year, the shortest time possible, and do what I call a dry run, live there for a while until you find out if there's a pack of dogs across the street.
The way I looked at it, though, is I could do a 15-year lease and they're locked in at one price. Mm-hmm. But I can give them 30 days notice. Mm-hmm. I'm not locked in.
Oh, you're not locked in?
I'm not locked into 15 years. They are.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So when I put in
smart.
Yeah.
See?
So I can give them 30 days notice. and I'm out of here.
No kidding.
Now, they can't raise my rent for 15 years.
That's the deal.
And I discounted the rent.
And they can't kick you out.
Well, anything is possible.
Okay.
You can't say that, okay? Because they kicked me out of an apartment for not a good reason. I didn't get along with the manager.
That.
She literally put my stuff out, and I had paid my rent, and I had never given them notice, and they never gave me notice. But she literally put my stuff out and changed the locks.
Well, that one was a psycho.
We're not going to go there. We're not going to say who.
No.
We're not going to say where.
Of course not. You said that woman.
She was a very difficult person, and I had to leave that apartment. And I knew I had to leave, and I started looking at different places. And I used a couple different realtors.
The other time I tried to warn him not to move in there. But
yeah, he told me it was a problem. And I had problems with her month after month. It was ridiculous. She wouldn't take care of the pool, and it was green. So I'm paying for the chlorine, and I'm cleaning the pool, and I'm maintaining the equipment. I'm replacing equipment in the pool equipment. The pump, electronics,
that's Goldfinger.
Because I wanted a pool. I like the pool, okay? And she was just letting it get green and gross. And everybody appreciated it. And then some of the other neighbors would help and kick in towards the chlorine and stuff. But I'm still flipping most of the bill.
Yeah.
But I liked it. But she got jealous. She got upset about it, that I was taking care of the pool.
Yeah.
It was weird.
That was then, this is now.
We all and other problems I had was she was add on to...
Oh, he's not going to let it go. Okay.
No, she added on to the electric bill. So my electric bill here is only $7,000, and I have a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house. That was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment, and it was over $10,000 every month for electricity, for 2 reasons. They weren't efficient appliances. Okay, the air conditioner and the refrigerator were older, and they were not efficient. And she would read the meter, and then she'd tell you the bill, what you owe. So she was padding the bill.
Yeah.
So her rate that she was paying to Norco for electric was different than my rate that I'm paying to her. Okay, I wasn't getting my own. None of the people in the apartment, and there was about 15 units. None of the people got their own Norco electric bill. Everyone was getting a bill from her, and she said how many kilowatts you used, and this is the price per kilowatt. Okay, but when we checked with Norco, their price was 75% of that.
So the moral of this story is when renting a place, again,
you want your own bill, your own water bill, and your own Norco.
Well, yeah, I think the general picture is you not only have to look at the dwelling, but you also need to interview the landlord and get a vibe off of them.
Honestly, she was very nice the first time I met her.
Is that right?
And she promised to do things that she never did. She made all kinds of promises. She said they didn't have air conditioner in there. She said she'll put in she said that if I pay for half the split unit, she'll pay for the installation and she'll pay for the other half. She didn't do it.
She didn't do it.
Okay. And just one thing after another. Anyway, when I came to this place, the landlord was really sweet person, and you could tell she was genuine. And I checked with her, and we draw up a contract. There were several things I wanted to do. They had 9 dogs here. She had to get rid of the dogs. There was too many dogs, and they weren't being taken care of. And she got rid of all the junk here. So I could come in, and I told her I'm going to put some money into the place. I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to paint it. And she wanted 40,000 pesos a month. And I said, I'll pay you 35, but I'll give you first, last, and security, 105,000 pesos. Now, I didn't know it at the time, but she needed money. She was behind on her bills. And I didn't know that at the time. Even though she's a sweet person, she didn't tell me she was behind on her bills. So my first electric bill, there was 6 months worth of electricity due, which I deducted from the first couple months' rent. Okay, but
so she was a little behind the 8 ball.
You know, she was definitely behind on the bills. There was problems, but I didn't know that till later. In any case, she allowed me to deduct it from the rent, and I told her I wanted 30 days I wanted 30 days rent free, and the rent starts at 35,000 the following month. And I need her to move everything out in 2 weeks. And then I need a full 30 days after the 2 weeks, okay? So, and she did everything. She got everything. I didn't think she'd get everything out of here in 2 weeks. There was a lot of stuff here. She got everything out. But when she said everything, she took everything, okay? The refrigerator, the beds, there was no stove, everything, no couches, nothing, okay? But that was fine. I brought in painters and cleaners, and we spent the first week just cleaning and painting the inside of the house so I could move in. And though I spent a lot of money on the place, it's perfect for what my needs were.
Right.
And I had an extra bedroom, and I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I want to do. I like the idea of a studio. I want to try this. I didn't realize I was going to be doing a YouTube channel at the time. It wasn't a plan. So the Goldfinger Minute was something that came up after.
We'll put a little link in to the Goldfinger Minute.
But that I just
a real
really wanted.
misleading title.
Yeah, there's nothing minute about it. But, I wish I was the same way in the bedroom. But unfortunately, it applies to everything in my life. So anyway, a minute man here. I'm a minute man. So you don't get that.
What'd you say?
I'm a minute man.
A minute man. Oh, yeah.
I went over the head.
Yeah, and that includes cleanup.
I did shorts, and my shorts are 10 minutes long. I know you do shorts, and they're like 30 seconds or less. Yeah, my shorts are 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
My first one was 20 minutes.
All right. Well.
Anyway, I love talking to people. I obviously like talking. I always cut you off. You know that.
All the time.
All the time. And you got used to that.
We still haven't got to the point yet.
What was the point? I forgot.
I rest my case.
Anyway, I just wanted to do it so I get out there, and I liked you, and we got along good, and we talked good, and I thought, that'd be great for your channel, and I can get people to help possibly from that. They'll notice me better, and they'll help finance things that I want to do for the kids.
Okay.
So the real reason was for me to raise funds to help children, because that's what I do, is to help children in schools and stuff like that. Typically grade school.
Right.
And I figured, well, that's a way for me to get out there to ask people. And I do like the ebook, so there's a free ebook involved.
Tell them a little bit about your ebook.
Well, the ebook is all about what you need to prepare for before you come out here, what you need to do when you do want to come out here, what's requirements are, how to get the best airplane flights, where hotels, what everything. And it started off as Dumaguete for Dummies. It's now called Philippines Made Simple, because it expanded to all of the Philippines. So it's the same ebook, but basically it applies to everywhere in the Philippines, regardless of what city you go to. However, there are sections in there specific to hotels here and restaurants here. And I give a rating for them and things like that.
And that needs to be updated consistently, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Because the hotels and the restaurants will be great this week.
I'm up to version 33 from one version.
So there's
33
an area,
versions.
those are waters I wouldn't tread into.
Well, and it is a lot of
restaurants, man. And I'm
restaurants
just in love with the place.
Yeah.
And then I go in 2 weeks later, and the chef cook they quit. And
and that does happen. Or the waitresses could ruin you. The employees could ruin you.
Brutal.
Okay. So restaurants is a problem because you have to take it with a grain of salt, because they do change. Yeah. And not everything on a menu is good.
No.
Only maybe what I ordered was really good.
Right.
I don't eat
and
every meal.
Everybody's got different tastes.
Right. So but in any case, it gives you a good idea of where to go when you get here and where to stay when you get here. It gives a few ideas and examples of the cost. And I tell people how to book things so they don't have to use travel agency. They can save money, how to book their own flights, and on what days and what time of the year is better to come out here, things like that. And we talk about visas, Bureau of Immigration, what the requirements are, what to expect.
And again, you got to stay on top of that.
Yeah.
Some things have just changed.
And we talk about the women, the girls too. We talk about the ladies.
The ladies.
How to meet a lady. What are you looking for? How to treat them properly, and things like that. Be respectful. And because a lot of guys want to come out here and they want to find, they're divorcees, they're single, and they want to find someone that's generally a good partner for life, for the rest of their life. And there are wonderful Filipinos out here that will take care of you. My interview yesterday with Tom, he let me know that his wife now literally washes his back when he takes showers. And she clears. She doesn't allow him to do any dishes. He's not allowed to clear the table. She cooks for him every meal if she wants. She's going to school at the same time, and she plans on working part-time when she finishes school in 30 days. And she won't let him do the laundry. She does the laundry. She's a hard-working woman. She's a province girl, and he's very happy. So I talk about these different people, and I started interviewing, and I kind of realized what I did was I took over where Mark had left off indirectly. Like you remember Mark, and every man had his day. He had a good channel, and he was a good person. Every man does have a story.
Yeah.
And I'm finding that people now they found out that I have a studio and I'm doing videos and podcasts. Things like that, they say, hey, can I give you my story? There's a niche for it.
Yeah.
So I said, I reached out to 3 or 4 people, and all of them said yes. And I was like, Okay, well, I'm not ready yet. Thanks. But I'm not ready yet. It's too many people. So, but kind of might take over where he may have left off in talking to people about their stories, because it's interesting to talk to different people on why they came out here.
Sure.
What did they do back home?
Sure.
Why did they come here? What are they doing while they're here? What is their expectations? What are their surprises? And it's very interesting. And so the Goldfinger Minute's going to kind of go into that, as well as answering the questions. Foreigners have questions before they come out here. They're a little bit worried. They're not.
What'll be fun is when you go live, and then you'll have live stream
And I
comments
have questions.
and there are questions right there, and you can just answer them.
Yeah. And any, I didn't really do this to raise money, but if it does raise money, it's for the kids. I don't need the money for myself. I'm just fine. I'm fine. My retirement covers my expenses. Plus, Carolyn's bike rental company actually covers all of the expenses.
Let's touch on that for a minute.
Okay.
You explain about Easy.
So what happened was somebody had owed me money. I had paid for their medical. Okay. They got into a bind. A good American friend who I had known, and he unfortunately had a stroke while driving a vehicle, and he ended up in a ditch and he hit somebody. He owed that person money for being out of work. He had to pay for the hospital bill. His vehicle got impounded, and he himself needed, obviously, medical because he had a stroke, and he did not have insurance. One of the things I tell people is you can get insurance here very affordable. And I talk about the $1,000,000 peso policy. For me, mine runs 48,000 pesos, under $1,000, about $900 USD a year, for full coverage with no deductible. And it'll cover anything, any emergency. It'll cover a triple bypass.
Back to the motorcycles.
Okay, sorry. So this is the problem I have. I know. Bear with me. I got old. I got talking. So he could pay me back.
I'm so tired.
Yeah, he could pay me back the money. It was several $100,000 pesos. So I said he had cards, but he couldn't get cash. So he went and I said, buy me some bikes and I'll sell them. He bought me some bikes.
On credit cards.
On credit cards.
That's the key.
On credit cards.
Because it doesn't make sense until you throw in the credit card parts.
He had to buy them on credit cards. He couldn't get cash.
He couldn't give him any cash back.
Yeah.
But he had a credit card. And he couldn't do a cash advance and pay you
They went
back.
through the cash advance. He tried. He
so
went through it.
he said,
but they'll allow him to buy bikes.
Smart. He said,
so
go
I
buy
said,
me
okay,
some motorcycles.
buy me some bikes and I'll sell them. And even if I take a loss, okay, I'll sell. Well, I couldn't sell them. They wanted 50 cents on the dollar. I said, you know what? I think I'll try renting them. And that's what started. I rented them out. And they rented so well that I ended up buying a few more to rent it. And I started doing the numbers and the calculations. And I go, if I have 40 bikes, I'm going to raise several million a year on income. Okay?
Pesos.
Yes, pesos. Pesos, not dollars. I'm sorry, I've been here so long.
I know.
You forget that dollars and pesos. But we're already at 7 months, and I'm already at 125,000 pesos a month, which is more than my expense. General income, and the bikes I buy are paid for.
Right.
Okay. You can't get financing on motorbikes. You can, but it's expensive. Financing is very expensive
like
here.
30%.
So I just buy them outright, and we're at 18 motorbikes now with 2 e-carts.
Cool.
So I plan on getting more.
And that's the legacy for Carolyn.
And I can't have a run a business. I myself.
You can't.
I'm on a tourist visa. I can't run a business, but Carolyn can. So I gave her. We tried a couple different names. Her name is Carolyn Filipino. That's her real name. So we called it Filipino Motorbike. And all I got was Filipinos that want to run motorbikes. I got no foreigners. And I wanted to rent to foreigners. I'm buying fancy bikes with top box.
Right.
So I said, we need to change the name. So we came up with Easy Rider Rentals.
People are going to ask, and then we're going to have to shut it down. But what is a Click 125 rent for a month?
So a Click 125 new with a top box and a phone holder is 2,500 pesos a week or 8,500 pesos a month.
Okay.
Now, if you figure that in money, 8,500 pesos, I don't have my calculator. What is that in dollars? Yeah.
5,000 is $100, right? 5,500 is $100.
Yeah,
So
that's 60. Yeah. I don't know. You guys have to figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out.
8,500 divided by 56, 57. So 8,500 pesos. It's not a lot. It's cheap. And you rent a bike, and you can and what I recommend people, what they do, they come over here and they're new. Try a little bike, a scooter, a 125. Then try another bike for a week. Just rent it for a week. Try a PCX then try an ADV, try an NMAX. And I don't care if you rent it for 1 week and try different bikes, and then you'll know what you want to buy.
You know what? I'm going to shut it down at that, but that's something that I watched on another channel, a guy traveling around the Philippines, and he had bought a bike and right away, which is great because, you know, you get that out of the way, you know you're going to be here, you're committed, you get your own bike, and it's cheaper than renting from him or anybody else. At the end of the day, it's if you just own it. However, what he found out was after he rode that bike for 6 months and he was riding a lot, that it didn't fit his rear end and his legs and this and the way the handlebars were. His
I found
body
the same thing.
hurt. So what he said was he went to his friend and was riding different bikes and then found the gold, you know,
because
that
they
sweet spot
ride
is
different.
what I'm trying to look for.
Every person
So
has.
a guy can come to you and think he wants an NMAX, which is a bigger bike, right?
Right.
But you can start him off, especially if you're like me. I rode motorcycles as a kid all my life, but then for 40 years I didn't because I was busy working and raising a family. Then I came over here. Well, riding a motorcycle was not like something I had to learn, but I had to get adjusted to the traffic and all that happy stuff. And so starting off on a smaller bike is not going to cut into your masculinity just because you've had Harleys all your life. You get on a little 125, learn to navigate, and then drive it for an hour in one direction and say, this is not good. Kick up to another bike and that bike, or this bike's too big, or this bike's too gainly. And you can literally come to him or somebody
You're
like
talking
him.
about $50 a week to
There you
try
go.
different bikes.
And you
$50
can
to
do a
$60 a
week-long
week.
test drive. And then you say, okay, I'm in love with this. And then go out and buy one.
And go and buy one.
And there you go, right?
Yeah, and that's what I did myself, actually, when I came out here. I tried a little bike. I says, this is too small for me. And I learned the ropes on how to ride in the city and stuff because it's a little different riding here. I have a whole chapter on riding in the Philippines. It's different than riding back home. They have no rules here. There's no rule. They ride on any side of the street, any direction.
It's all suggestions.
Yeah, there's no. Dubaguetti has one light. We finally got our one light, and it broke. so there are no rules, and there's no police force to ensure. They don't enforce any rules, so you can ride any way you want, any speed, anyway. And so once you learn how to ride on a small bike, you might want to feel a different bike. And a PCX and an NMAX are very similar. They ride differently.
Yeah.
One's made by Yamaha, one's made by Honda. They rent for the same thing, about $60 a week. But when you try the NMAX for a week, try the PCX for a week, they're the same size engine, just about. They totally ride different. One has a wider seat, one's a little bit shorter, one's a little bit taller, and you'll get an idea, you know. And that's the best. And that's what happened.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little link into his new little channel, the podcast, the Goldfinger Minute. And then also for his ebook, and that's to help new guys coming out here.
Free ebook.
And
it's
we've
free.
done this 3 or 4 times on the channel already. And every time we do one, you get a big input.
I do.
A big uptick, I should say.
on Goldfinger the Goldman
emails.
3
Yeah.
at Gmail. We changed it.
I thought it was 1.
We changed it to 3. One got overloaded. I had several thousand.
Oh, really?
I have several thousand people on Goldfinger the Goldman 1, and 2. I forgot the password. So I made a Goldfinger the Goldman 3. It was just easier. I couldn't figure out the password.
So Goldfinger has leased or rented a house for 15 years. He started a studio, which he's going to do, I think, all kinds of stuff here. As you can see by the surroundings, he's done the best
We'll show you
a
that
person
too.
can do.
We'll show you that.
And then, we'll give you future videos of tour of the motorbikes. He's done a motorbike business for his fiance, so
Right.
she has a dedicated income. Something happens to him tomorrow, she knows how to run it.
She can rake 125,000 pesos a month just
Make
on
a few
that.
bucks. It's an opportunity for you guys to meet somebody you know If you want to buy a bike, if you want to rent a bike, if you want to try one for a day, he'll do it. If you want to try one for a week,
well,
you
no, I
want to
don't
try it
do
for a month.
dailies.
Oh,
but
you don't do a
I
day?
don't do dailies.
No, a week
It's
would
too
be
much.
the
It's too
minimum.
much time because I talk to people.
Yeah.
I'm long-winded, and they come over and visit. And I
Yeah.
spend 30 minutes with every guy that comes
Yeah,
over.
see,
It's
it could
like,
be the
oh my
Paul
god.
McGill minute, but with you, it's the Goldfinger afternoon. Just to rent a bike for, the day's already
Well, we
gone.
come
by the
over, we
guys-
have some iced tea, and they tell me about their life, and we talk about their story. And I go, hey, pretty soon it's gonna be, hey, you want to do a podcast? They'll be here they'll be here for the whole day, and then I'll forget that they wanted to rent a bike.
Yeah, never get a
You know, a
bike.
guy actually left once and didn't pay me the rent, didn't pay me any rent. He didn't deposit. He signed all the paper, and then he called me because you forgot something. I said, I thought we covered just about everything. He says, yeah, except for you getting paid. I said, okay, I'll see you. I'll see you whenever you're in the area. It's not a big deal. It's easy going here. Not worried about it.
All right, so we're going to wrap it. Okay, we're at 30 minutes, if you can believe
Oh
that.
my goodness.
It just
Time
seems to
flies when
slide
you're having
by.
fun.
It just slides by.
Yeah.
All right, kids, we'll see you in the next video.
Bye all.